Hello there. Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 8 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here again to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. Specifically, how to use my life from the top of the mind philosophy to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. Today I want to talk about feeling out of control and maybe how to deal with that. Because a lot of people talk about that. I mean, life is just happening and man, feeling out of control here and can't control this and da-da-da-da-da. I found this thing on Pinterest and it was interestingly entitled Things We Can Control. And I started reading it and I was going, wow, isn't that interesting? I thought I would share it with you. Things we can control. Our beliefs, our attitude, our thoughts, our perspective. How honest we are, how and who our friends are. What books we read, what media we watch, how often we get exercise, the food we eat, how kind we are to others, how we interpret situations, how kind we are to ourselves, how often we say I love you, how often we say thank you, how we express our feelings, whether or not we ask for help, how often we practice gratitude, how many times a day we smile, how much effort we put into what's important, how we spend or invest our money, how much time we spend worrying about the present or the future, whether or not we judge people, how we respond to a setback, how much we appreciate the things we have. And frankly, we could go on and on. So, okay, well, if we can control all that, why do we feel so out of control so much? It's because of how the brain processes information. For those of you who follow my life from the top of the mind philosophy, you know I divide the brain into 3 parts. Lower part of the brain is called the brainstem. That's the fight or flight part. Upper 80% of the brain is called the neocortex. I call it the top of the mind. And this middle brain, it's called the limbic system. It operates as the scanner, processor, router part of the brain. And its mission on the planet is to keep us alive as a species, so it's always kind of searching for things it interprets as negative because it thinks negative is dangerous. Now, a long time ago, negative was dangerous, but now we're rarely in a dangerous situation, even though it might be somewhat negative. However, it interprets it as negative, throws us into that lower brain, and we get anxious and stressed and frustrated and worried and angry and feel overwhelmed and feel out of control. And if we try to deal with life from this lower part of the brain, we feel even more out of control because it really can't deal with the things that we want to have more influence over, our relationships, our peace of mind, etc. So, what I like to do is show people how to regain control by actually having a certain part of the brain regain control. Have this top of the mind, this clear, confident, creative, compassionate part of who we are regain control. And I do that by starting off by recognizing that there's a couple of things we can do, we can control, that will begin the process. Breathing and muscle tension. This is why if you've ever done any stress management or yoga or meditation, stress management or all that kind of stuff, breathing is always part of the process. It's because when we breathe purposefully, I like the 4-4-4 methods where we inhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and say the word relax at the end of the exhale. We're having this upper 80% of the brain, the neocortex, the top of the mind, literally take over, regain control by literally taking over 2 functions, breathing and muscle tension, normally controlled by the brainstem. Then we can control the kind of questions we're asking ourselves. Instead of asking what I call BS or brainstem questions like, man, what is wrong with this person? Or who taught this idiot to drive? Or why don't people listen to me? Or what's wrong with me? Those are what I call brainstem questions because they throw us into that lower brain. We can ask what I call top of the mind or neocortex questions. One of the most simple is, how would I rather be feeling? If I don't want to be feeling stressed, angry, frustrated, annoyed, if I could choose how I wanted to feel right now, what would that be? I don't know, happy, clear, confident, creative, excited, confident, whatever it is. It's possible that we have felt that at some point in the past. I mean, think about it. Have you ever felt confident and happy and excited? Well, of course. So now we can control the images we put into our mind. We can imagine time in the past when we're feeling the way we want to feel now, because here's the thing. The mind doesn't know the difference between a real and imagined event. I take people through an exercise when I'm doing my seminar about biting into a lemon. At the end of the exercise, everybody's going, blah, blah. Even though they're not really biting into a lemon, the image of biting into a lemon elicits certain responses. And those are actually chemical changes in our brain and body. So the mind will change the chemical makeup of our body even when what we're thinking about or who we're thinking about isn't really happening or isn't in the situation at the moment. We can control the images we put in our mind. We can then control what we notice, kind of the fact that we have just made a difference in our life. So when we breathe and relax and ask those top-of-the-mind questions, how would I rather be feeling? Imagine a time in the past when you're feeling that way and notice the change. Spells brain, B-R-A-I-N. We have actually elicited quite a bit of control over what part of the brain is in charge. From that perspective, we can begin to deal with life. Using maybe the serenity prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. So when we're willing to accept some of those things we can't control, the weather, traffic, sometimes other people, and have the courage to change the things we can, what part of the brain we're coming from, all the things that I talked about in that list, begin to exert a certain amount of influence in our life, begin to notice that, pay attention to that, value that, we can begin to experience more influence in our life and lives of others. We can feel more in control. So this is what I teach people to do. I go around the country teaching people my entire system, where it's about shifting to this clear, confident, creative part of the brain, how to stay there, how to live there, and then how to get other people to shift from their resistant brain to their receptive brain so they truly hear and understand what you're wanting them to know. If you would like me to come and talk to your organization, your church, your school about how to do that, all you got to do is go to my website, BillCrawfordPh.com, hit the contact button, let me know what you're interested in. Love to talk with you about that. If you're enjoying the videos, please hit the like button. You know how all the social media love it when you like it. Subscribe to me on YouTube or Facebook or Pinterest or LinkedIn, iTunes, any of those social media. I try to post one of these each week. So, if this is valuable, I'm hoping you're thinking and recognizing there are some things in our life we can control. And when we begin to control those, we can deal with those aspects that we can't control in a way where it doesn't throw us into that lower brain. So here's to you, bringing more clarity about what you can control, more clarity, confidence, and creativity to everything you do. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.